the cloud. Well, so hello there. I am Scott Langford. I am a professor of English at Foothill College in Silicon Valley. And I'm here today as part of our Foothill College Pride Month activities to welcome a former Foothill student, Scotty Plannette, and his son Ryder. And Scotty was the president of our Gender Support Alliance. Did we change our name by then? You'll have to tell me. So our Gay Straight Alliance or Gender Support Alliance, it's gone through many, our Queer Alliance, whatever you want to say. It's a club that goes back 30 and more years at Foothill College with various names. I'm one of the faculty advisors. So Scotty was the president a few years ago. I'm about to ask him when, and when I get through my little introduction. He was a wonderful president. I got to say, we have a great president now, Abi Muhar, who is also now our newly elected. You didn't pull this one off, Scotty. Abi, our current student president for the club, is now the student body president for all of Foothill College.
Oh,
so,
nice.
So Abi's expanded his vast powers. And then Scotty went on to get a degree at Sac State. So he transferred to Sac State. He got his degree. He married the love of his life, his husband, Rob, and who I'll be showing some photos. I'm ready to screen share at some point down the line. So he's working full time. He's got 2 kids now. He and Rob have 2 kids. And now I'm going to shut up because I think we'll just kind of let Scotty and Ryder take it from here. Scotty, what do you want to say in terms of like first like what did I miss out in there that's really important? That's really important. I can start with that. Oh, and you're I did not mention that your family is Peruvian, and so you're essentially Peruvian American. My pata friend, as I like to say, since I got to travel in Peru since I met Scotty. So that's part of his heritage as well. And Scotty's brother was also part of the GSA back in the day. So his family, I know that side of his family, and then I know the side. Okay, your turn, Scotty. You and Ryder get some screen time now. Now that I'm
all right. Yeah, I was a former Foothill College student. Now I'm trying to think back because it does feel like a lifetime ago. So
can you remember anything before fatherhood, Scotty? That's kind of the question. Sometimes there's this kind of Alzheimer's of parenting, right? Like,
it does, yeah.
Did I ever have a life before I had Ryder?
So for sure, I could give you a time frame. I was at Foothill from 2009 to, I want to say 2013, approximately, if not 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I graduated from Sac State in 2015, and I transferred in from Foothill. So I had a lot of the stuff, you know, the general ed and all that out of the way. I just, you know, went through the major, communications major. That's what I majored in at Sac State. I was, at Foothill, the reason why there was so many years at Foothill, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do career-wise. And, you know, just like anybody that goes at Foothill, I went directly from high school. So I believe my first quarter at Foothill was summer of 2009. So I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what questions do you guys have in regards to?
Well, I want to get in there with like one more before Jamie. So when did you get married?
Oh, I got married in 2016.
Let's get this little magic going, and then since we were talking earlier, but like, so when did Ryder come along? And when did Sierra come along? So let's go ahead with the family history here before we get the questions, just so people get the whole.
Okay, so so let's start from the beginning. I met Rob at the end of 2010. That's when I met Rob. We were friends at the beginning. You know, trying to figure out, hey, are we a good match? We had a very long engagement, and we actually didn't get married until 2016. We actually just celebrated our 4 years of being married.
Yeah, that's your new house too, right? Like
Yeah,
you got a
yeah,
pretty big anniversary present last time I looked on Facebook. So
yeah. Yeah, we moved from the Bay Area since.
We live at the city of Folsom.
Yeah, we live in the city of Folsom.
that's right.
It's nice, by the way, if any of you ever want to venture outside of the Bay Area, definitely NorCal is a place to go. Southern California too is nice. Okay, so got engaged, married in 2016. Had Ryder actually. Here's the 2016 was a very crazy year for us. So we got married in June of 2016. Ryder was born July 9th of that same year. So we call it a shotgun wedding. I mean, it was planned. But, you know, we wanted to get married before having kids. We literally borderlined that. So, yeah, so 2016 was a big year for us. I started my, all right, hold on, buddy. I started my, are you going to hang out? You want to come hang out for a little bit? All right, go get them and then come back. I started working for the state of California in 2016 as well. So that was before getting married. Yeah, 2016 was just a huge year for us, especially for me. Career, marriage, kid. On 1 year.
I just saw that wedding ring flash on your finger too.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now I will stop being so directive and let Jamie have a question because she had one.
I do have a question. So, how old are you, Scotty?
It broke up a little bit.
How old are you?
I am 28, going on 29. Yeah.
All right, and would you say that you had to take care of, siblings at all growing up?
Yes. Oh, okay. Is that leading into how did I know I wanted to be a parent kind of question? Or okay. So I am the middle child, firstborn son, middle child. So I've always looked after my baby brother. When did I know I wanted to be a parent? I want to say around 8. The idea of being a dad someday was, hey, yeah, I want to be a dad. Mm-hmm. What age was I going to become a parent? No idea. For me, it happened when I was 23, at the tail end of 23. So
you became a parent at 23 years old?
Yeah.
Interesting. My mom, she became a parent at 28. She graduated from San Jose State within 10 years to finish her degree, but she basically had me in her last quarter of graduating. And this was in 2001. Mm. So very interesting correlations there. I would just say that it's just interesting to see how you had a child younger than she did. And this was about 19 years ago at this point. She had a kid around 28, 29, her early 30s, which I feel like the majority of younger millennials are kind of say hey, I think having a kid in my 30s is economically sound. How would you say raising a child is in this demographic, as well as supporting the child with financial resources so that they can grow and learn in an environment that supports them?
So Ryder was planned a long time ago. So going back to the long engagement, when I got engaged to Rob, we knew we wanted a family. Technically, we had started, so the way we got Ryder was through IVF, which is in vitro fertilization. Mm-hmm. So pretty much, he was a frozen embryo for a while. We started that a while ago. We just didn't have, we enjoyed our engagement and we're thinking, okay, so when do we actually want to get the ball rolling with him coming along the way? Obviously, we waited towards the end because, we had our wedding and then boom, parents the next month. So we did drag that on a little bit before he came about. But for me, thankfully, after graduating from Sac State, my first interview with the state, I got the job. I can't speak for, you know, other people that interview for a good year and they finally land one with the state. But my first one I got, and I'm really thankful because that was my green light for me to say, all right, I'm ready to be a parent now. I have a career.
Yeah.
Let's go. Rob obviously had a career at that point already. So, you know, it was one of those where we both have careers. Let's start a family. Now, am I a strong believer that you need to have that before you become a parent? No. I think being a parent, it just depends on yourself. You know, the one thing that I've learned from becoming a parent is you make it work. No matter what situation you're in, you're going to make it work.
Yeah.
It's scary to think about it that way, but it does play out that way. You find it within yourself to just make it work wherever you are.
Yeah. Going to sacrifice for different families, you know, a lot of people like lacking with their children, I would say, in this day and age. But overall, I feel like through other kids building community with each other, they're able to support one another. And, you know, having parents that are involved and having some parents that work, you know, definitely help, you know, with after school care and helping with, you know, just making sure that, you know, you're carpooling, other kids are getting picked up, other kids, you know, are part of your over extended community and family. Community-based learning, essentially.
Okay, I see Professor John Fox has joined us. He's my co-faculty advisor, one of my two co-faculty advisors with the Gender Support Alliance, and John put his hand up. So John, if you want to unmute yourself, you are welcome to say hi to Scotty and ask a question or whatever you have in mind.
Hi, John.
You're muted.
I am not muted.
There you go.
Anymore.
Hi, Johnny. There you are.
Hey, John.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's great. When I first heard you doing this, I'm just like, oh, this is great. I love it when, like, you know, the alumni come back and do the whole, well, it's the welcome back Cotter thing, but you guys don't understand what that is. It's,
I do.
You do. Yes, you do. Yes. Okay. So two questions first. One's a little like, how is your baby brother, as you refer to Spencer?
Oh, baby brother Spencer. He's always going to be a baby to me. He's doing good. He's actually out here in Sacramento. Well, Rancho Cordova, technically. So he's maybe 10 miles away from us. So he's local. The whole family moved out here. He's actually working for the state. Yeah, we're
just like you, huh?
Yeah, we're under the same department. I had nothing to do with it. It just so happened to play out that way. Yeah, he called me one day. He's like, "Hey, I got a state job." I was like, "Whoa, what department? This one? Oh, that's the same one." So, yeah, I was like, "That's awesome." We don't work at the same office, but I keep trying to bug him, so he comes over to my office, but we'll see. He kind of wants his independence. He doesn't want to hang out with me all the time.
Oh, well, I can kind of relate to that, being the baby brother, and I have a brother, you know, close by. And actually, I wish I saw him more. But second is what about the involvement of, like, your kids' grandparents on both of your sides and things like that? How are they involved in your kids' lives and things?
So Rob's parents passed away due to being smokers when he was in his 30s. My parents are obviously still around. My mom is a big contributor to our child care needs, and she has been since day one. That she has allowed, you know, both of us to keep our careers. Because a lot of the times what you see happen is you know, both parents start with careers and then one of them becomes a stay-at-home parent. Thanks to her, we both, you know, had the opportunity to keep our careers. Because otherwise, I think, you know, we probably, you know, I may have become a stay-at-home dad at some point. There's nothing wrong with that, but, you know, I'm really thankful she stepped in. You know, it's one of those things that, like, oh, sweet, you know, like, I get to be a parent and, you know, I get to provide for the family as well. So
That's
cool.
Great. That's awesome. I
yeah,
really
so
like to hear your background as well. I'm also interested to know more about your Peruvian background and how you believe that has influenced your parents' dedication to working.
So interesting story. Okay. My sister was born in Peru. I was born in Venezuela, and my brother was born in Honduras. So we were all born in different countries. But we all identify as Peruvian because both our parents are Peruvian.
Yeah.
I can't tell you anything about Venezuela. I was literally just born there.
Yeah.
And then I think, a couple of months after we flew back to Peru. But one thing that I would take away from my Peruvian background, and I think it's a lot of cultures, especially in South America and anywhere really, family is really important. Family is an essential thing. So my mom has always had that core belief that, I'm grandma. If you need my help, I'm going to be there. Thankfully, she's not working at the moment. She's technically retired. I call it technically retired, but yeah, she helps us out a lot. So she's, especially with baby number 2, Sierra, coming along, she's definitely, she's nonstop. She's nonstop support.
Yeah. She likes to hang out with them.
She does, and she gets her grandma time.
Yeah.
And she gets her weekends off too, because after spending Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday with the kiddos, you kind of need, as much as you love kids, you need a break from them as well. So she gets her time as well.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Hear about your family and just like more about your cultural background. I'm sure going back and forth, growing up must have been a double-sided perspective. But I'm really happy that you were able to do well in your community and still have a strong sense of family, because that's really important when you're in touch with the global community in general and being connected to your own cultural understanding as well as the community that you live in today. So thank you so much, Scotty, for answering my question.
That's great. So let's see. Standard question: does Ryder call you both dad, or is there like
no?
So how does that work? I actually never asked you that. I don't know the answer to that question, Scotty.
So Ryder calls me Papa, which is dad in Spanish, because he's actually bilingual. I don't think I'll be able to have him speak Spanish. He's really shy about it. Can you speak Spanish? No, he's not. So I'm Papa, and Rob is dad or daddy.
That's
so
great.
That's how we I guess we distinguish the two.
Does your mom use Spanish with him all the time?
Oh yeah, that's why he knows Spanish.
That's why I was guessing. That's probably why.
Yeah, my mom only speaks Spanish. She understands English. Her speaking it is a little bit of a struggle, but she can get by. But yeah, no, Ryder's 24/7 Spanish with her. So.
Yeah, and then what was the decision like to have a second child too? So was it sort of like the on-ramp and it's just there, or was that a long discussion, or like how did that all happen?
So the parenting route, the in vitro fertilization, what we did was when we did all that process, we had a bunch of embryos. And out of that batch of embryos, the doctor chooses to transfer the healthiest. At that point, you actually know boys and girls. So the decision making is either do we have a boy or a girl. So Rob was set on having a boy. A boy at first. His logic is, I don't know, I just wanted a boy. I went with it. I was like, okay, you're stubborn, so let's have a boy. So Ryder came along, and then we actually were going to do another boy. We didn't really have too much success with the embryos that we had left. So then we were just left with girl embryos, and we're like, you know what? This is the universe kind of telling us, you guys need to raise one of each. And we could have easily done the entire process again and you know, got a new batch of embryos and, you know, no, we want a boy. We're going to keep trying this until we get a boy. But, you know, we said, you know what, let's take this sign. The universe is telling us something right now. Like, I think we can manage a girl. I mean, 2 gay guys can manage a girl, I think. So we took that, and yeah, it's been awesome. Girls and boys are very different as babies. So it's been neat having one of each.
Yeah. And by the way, if you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand or you can put something in the chat box because I think Chris is monitoring. And I see Jamie raising her hand again, so that would be okay with me. Go ahead, Jamie.
But more significantly at this moment, since you just had a baby girl introduced into your family, you know, unit, would you say, how has that changed the dynamic in different conversations? But more importantly, how does it make you feel?
With Ryder, we felt like emotionally, it's hard to explain, but with having Sierra, a different side of us has come to the light. In a, I don't want to say emotional way, but kind of perspective wise, like we, you know, as a house of boys, we never, the stuff that we think about now has never come to the table. And now that we have a girl, you know, we have to look into this stuff. And it's actually neat. It's like, you know what, if we would have done 2 boys, we would have never had the opportunity to explore what we are exploring now. And I think she's brought light to both sides of the coin, you know, as for just having that guy mentality, you know, like, oh, we're raising boys and, you know, it's going to be a boy house. Now it's like a girl, you know, we're going to have to put the seat down and all that stuff. So it's neat. It's neat. It's really neat.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm just really excited to see how the boy and girl you're raising will continue to support one another, against one another in times when they might feel overwhelmed in the world. I think it's great that, you know, you're definitely taking a step forward by just showing that, you know, parents don't have to necessarily be the same race or the same gender to be parents and to cooperate and to educate children, you know, so I feel that's really important. Diversity and that educating and is able to teach the next generation is very important. So thank you for your time in there.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm scanning around for other questions. I don't know. You know me, I'm always full of them.
Ask away.
Did anybody have an issue? I mean, this could happen in a heterosexual couple too, but did anybody have an issue like, no, you shouldn't have kids, it's not time, or it's going to be too hard, you know, the social situation is going to be too difficult? Did you get pushback? Or did you just, maybe you don't, I don't know if you would even listen if you did get pushback, but that's another sort of standard question for people that, I have tons of friends that are gay parents. So it's like, I'm kind of like, but I know that for some of the students, I don't know how many of you in the Zoom room, in my class, et cetera, have sort of had a lot of interactions with queer parents. If you live in San Francisco, I do, then this is kind of like just part of life, but it's not necessarily part of life for everybody.
Yeah.
So grandma actually, Aunt Lee, who watches both the kids, when we first announced that we were having a girl, the first thing she was like, wait, 2 guys raising a girl, how's that gonna work? You know, and you know what? Bless her heart, she's come a long way. I'm not gonna lie. Her first reaction wasn't the greatest when we announced that it was a girl. She was excited we were having another one, but yeah, just the whole thing, like, you guys are guys, you know, you don't know what it's going to be like to raise a girl because you don't have that perspective yourself. And that just may be kind of Hispanic culture, you know, that's the mentality a lot of that derives from. But, you know, that lasted like a good week, and then Sierra came along and, you know, melted her heart away. And I mean, she knows we're good parents. I mean, she's always going to criticize how we do her hair. We don't have the hair down yet like she does. But yeah, no, mom's definitely my mom's definitely come around in regards to, hey, you guys don't know what you're doing raising a girl. So she's come around big time.
Cool. I see Rick's hand up. Rick, you want to unmute yourself and you can ask away.
Sure. Hi, everybody. So, Scotty, I just have a couple of questions.
Sure.
I was a guardian to a rescue dog for a number of years, and that was challenging with not being able to sleep when it was a puppy. So my first question is, how are you dealing with no sleep?
So Sierra is actually a super baby. She has been sleeping through the night since 6 months.
So how do you get one of those? Like, do you
I don't
order
know.
it?
You know, I think you just have to
Check the
have a
box.
girl. I think.
Oh,
I think
okay.
girls are just on top of it. Yeah. No. We got lucky. Actually, Ryder was pretty easy as well. I mean, with him, I kind of blame us for having absolutely no idea how to put a baby down to sleep because he was our first one. But I think with Sierra, one thing I know is babies feed off your confidence. So if they know you're completely clueless, they're going to read on that. They'll just look at you and be like, you have no idea what you're doing, do you?
So they're basically like really, really, really smart puppies.
Yeah, that will eventually outgrow you.
And my other question is, not that it's really important to me, so don't read anything into this. How do you go to happy hour on Friday? Or is happy hour in your house?
Happy hour has, you know what, even before parenting, we weren't we weren't going out to clubs or anything like that. We, I mean, do we drink? Yeah, but it was more like at barbecues and stuff like that. Now, this might sound boring, but we drink wine.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I'll have a beer here and there when we go out, but when we could go out.
You had me at wine.
Yeah. Grapes are healthy. So.
Yeah. So I mean, kids keep you so busy. You don't have time to drink as much as you think you would. Yeah. I know that sounds horrible, but they're a handful 24/7.
They don't need to rely on that.
You don't. Honestly,
Yeah.
Last time I had wine was a good over a month ago. I don't even think I had wine on our anniversary dinner. So, yeah.
A lot of communication.
Thank you for your answers.
Yeah. Ask away. I'm not shy. I promise. I'll try to answer the weirdest questions you guys have. Like, ask away.
Okay, guys, come on. We have to come up with something
Get
a little
creative.
more.
Yeah.
What I'm like seeing from like your conversation in the sense of like the way that your kids refer to you, just calling you papa, like that's very culturally like balanced with, calling someone dad or daddy. Like it's like very like culturally balanced, I'd say, and like perspective and the lens I'm looking at it through. I would say that the parentheses around guy, girl already come with masculine and feminine connotations that really limit people and how they can express themselves. And I would say I learned the most about masculinity and femininity through fashion and editorial, because there's such a spectrum on what's fashion and what's okay for people to express themselves in a way that makes them feel happy. And self-expression is a very important way to make you feel happy, in my opinion. The way that you dress all comes with confidence, all comes with a sense of sanity, honestly, because people will, look at you differently, and they will just be like, why are you wearing that? Why are you showing this? Why are you showing that? So it's very important to be very, very in touch with what you want to wear and, what that means to you. And I feel like just advocating for like how you grew up and like which lens you grew up in the sense of like changing your physical appearance, because there's a lot of ways people can do that. And it's very scary, but overall, I would say that, you can see me and you can probably guess that, I'm obviously African-American woman. You could obviously guess that, I would say maybe obviously I would have to explain, I feel like, to a majority of people what my cultural background is, but it's pretty diverse. And I would say that just growing up in this area, I know that there's a spectrum of what you can identify with as in the parameters of being queer. So there's a whole spectrum for that in your self-expression.
Oh, thank you.
how does it do you feel like interactions out in the world, like I'll put out there a stereotype that I think is old and hopefully gone, which is like, okay, we're cool with it in the Bay Area. And then as soon as you leave the Bay Area and you get into the Sacramento Valley, all of a sudden everybody's going to freak out. So like, how does it feel for you sort of out and about? And how do you feel people read you? I'll give you an example. I have another gay parent friend in a biracial marriage. His husband is white and he's Filipino American. And when he was going out with his very blonde son, he felt like people were reading him as the nanny, put it bluntly.
Yeah.
Right? And then he just in the way that Jamie's saying, he's actually kind of adjusted his appearance in such a way that he gets read now as the daddy and not the nanny. But I don't, and that's his experience. That's the whole point. I don't know if that has anything to do with the experience that you have out there, but since it's Pride Month, I get to ask all the Pride questions too.
Out here in the, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. You're ready.
Oh.
Go.
So in the Sacramento County area, you do have a very diverse crowd. When we moved out here, we were amazed at how many other gay parents we came across just at the store and stuff like that. I think we would do most of the pointing out. Like we would be at Trader Joe's and I'd be like, Rob, I think they're gay. You know, we wouldn't say anything. Is there like a
secret gay parent handshake or something?
No, you just kind of like look at them and like, hi.
Hello.
But
how are you?
We haven't had anybody say anything. I mean, I think one thing that a lot of people try to wrap themselves around when they see my entire family is, so there's Rob and I have an age gap. So you have that. And then you have two kids who are biologically half siblings. Sierra looks like me due to the hair color, and Ryder looks, like Rob due to his hair color. So I think by the time we come across their visual, they're trying to figure out like, wait, okay, so they're the parents and these kids kind of look like them. How does that work? So by the time, we're done shopping or doing whatever, they can't even come up with anything. So I think we throw a lot their way, especially people that want to say something. There's just so much for them to take in that they can't come up with anything. But I don't know. Well, we haven't had any negative responses or anything like that from, just being out and about. Actually, we've had a lot of people compliment us.
That's awesome.
Oh, you have beautiful kids. They never point out like, oh, obviously this one's biologically yours or anything like that. But they do see, again, going back to them being half siblings, they do see that both of them are related because both of them have really big eyes.
Yeah.
And kind of a lot of share the same facial features. You can't catch that on camera, but if you see them in person, you're like, whoa, you guys do kind of look alike a lot.
That's great. Rick, I see your hand up again. You have another question, right? Go ahead.
I do. I actually have 5.
Oh, whoa, all right.
Oh.
One at a time.
Do we have time? I'll go really fast. The first one is, is Rob like 15 years your junior and he has purple hair?
What's that?
Is Rob like 15 years younger than you and he has purple hair?
No,
No.
we're a drinking age apart, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's our dating joke. We're drinking age apart. So
So not purple hair.
No.
When do the kids get to see Peru?
When they can appreciate it, which is probably going to be when they're 10. When Sierra's 10, I think.
Okay.
That'll be a good, especially with the whole altitude thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember experiencing the altitude, but I do want to take a family trip to Machu Picchu. And even my mom remembers taking my sister when she was 8. And my sister was crying the entire time. The altitude just like freaked her out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll wait till Sierra and head over there.
And do you guys do the whole pink blue thing or?
So we did, and
What? That's
So,
not the right answer.
Let me backtrack. So, okay. We did. So when you have kids, people buy you a lot of things. And I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say you probably won't buy kids clothes for their first year. Yeah, you could say, hey, you know what, we never, so let me backtrack. We never announced that we were going to raise our kids gender neutral. You know, if they don't feel like what they were born is right, they will tell us. That's kind of the approach we've always taken. That may be, you know, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's going to be up to them to let us know. We're always going to be supportive of it. Right now, when I refer to Ryder as my son and Sierra as our daughter, that may change. You know, one of them, you know, may be trans. I don't know. But for right now, just for the sake of, for our mentality, because parenting just has so much on the table as is. You know, if there's ever any question, you know, we'll ask him. Like, Ryder's 3.5 right now. Actually, no, I lied. He's gonna be 4 next month. He'll watch like a YouTube video and he'll say, "Hey, that's my girlfriend." Okay, sure, that's your girlfriend. He'll watch another video and he'll say, "That's my boyfriend." Okay, that's your boyfriend too. But you know, he'll figure out who he is, and we want to raise them to be comfortable enough to tell us. That's our goal. You know, we're not gonna guide him in it right now, or not intentionally in regards to his sexuality. But when he's ready to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm gay or I'm straight," awesome. You know, Papa and Daddy are here for you. Like, we don't care. You're our son. We love you unconditionally. So
it turns out you actually answered question 4 and 5. So I'm gonna great. So I have a quick question. Did he get bored with the group and he left? I don't see him. Did Ryder leave?
Kind of boring.
No, he said he was going to go grab something, but he never came back.
And are you thinking of maybe teaching parenting workshops based on your experiences so far?
Teaching parenting workshops.
Or
no,
presenting workshops. I don't know.
I would. So in regards to teaching it, I don't think I'm, you know, a perfect parent. So I don't think I think we're doing just fine. I would definitely do a panel for any kind of parenting workshops and give my experience, but I don't think I'm educated or have that background enough to, you know, in child development or anything like that to actually, hey, this is how you parent, because there is no how you parent. You just make it work. And that's for us, that was our reality. Like, we made it work. You know, we had no idea. We wanted kids. This is how many diapers we ended up changing in the first night. You know, you just make it work.
So my last question, which is a new question for number 5, just popped into my head, is just discipline, child discipline. So back in the day when I grew up, you know, a popular thing was to have you stand in the corner, or if you came home late 3 times in a row, you know, my dad might slap me, not beat me, but slap me. And we know from what I'm not a parent, I've only had a dog, and I just see all this stuff now that you don't touch your kid, you don't do anything. I'm not really sure how do you discipline, or do you discipline?
Yeah, we do discipline. Rob and I, before actually Ryder came along, we kind of told ourselves, let's try everything not to spank our kids. I'm a wooden spoon survivor myself. Belt, you know, it was different times. Even for me, I'm only 28, but the cultural background that my parents had, you know, they were raising 3 kids. We only have 2. My mom didn't have the, you know, grandparent support that I have. So I can't judge her for, you know, doing that. Whenever we misbehaved, as perfect as I would like to say I was as a child. But No, what we do is we actually talk to a child counselor. A lot of the times, it's figuring out what's causing their tantrum or why they're not listening. So, you drop down to your knee and you ask them, hey, what's bugging you? You might be there a good 20 minutes while they're sobbing, but, the 20 minutes you're on your knees in pain are going to pay out for the rest of the day because you figured out what was wrong. Whenever, I'd like to say Ryder's a perfect child. I can't speak for Sierra right now because she's a baby, She doesn't test the limits yet, but whenever Ryder, when no isn't working, we send him up to his room. So he knows his bed's for sleeping, but he also knows that, if we're telling you no for something that's dangerous, like you're going to cut your hand off if, you don't drop that or stop pulling on that, you're going up to your room. So he knows that. It took a little bit, we had to walk him up there at first, but now it's to the point where we can just say, you know what, Ryder, I think you need to go sit in your bed. So he goes up there. Did he cry on his way up there? Yes, it's heartbreaking, but, we just saved him from pulling a whole case of bottles from landing on him. So, yeah, that's a method we found that stuck with him. Now, Sierra might be different. Every kid's different, so we'll see if the whole bed trick works for her or if we have to do like a go sit in the corner thing for her. But yeah, in regards to Ryder, that seems to be the one thing that does stick with him.
Well, thank you for all your answers. And just to let you know, at Grocery Outlet, they're selling those little kneeling pads like you use in the front yard. I just bought 2 for $4.99 each. They work really well.
Oh man, yeah.
Scotty, before we jump into more questions, I was thinking maybe now I could do the screen share and show some of your photos off your Facebook.
Yeah, go for it.
Would that be okay?
Yeah.
I think that would be fun for people. So let me go ahead and do that. And then you can kind of tell me what to do in terms of scrolling. So here's Scotty's Facebook.
Welcome
and here's
to my Facebook.
Facebook. Let's see. I always love the Giants one. I love that one.
Oh yeah, that is one of my favorite pictures.
Right. Actually, I love them all, to be honest. And there's Sierra, who didn't get until now.
So I guess
I love them. I love this Buried in the Sand. I love them all. Every time I get on your Facebook, I'm like, I'm just like, I coo a lot when I watch your Facebook.
So click on the one where we're on the couch, bottom right.
Bottom right. Okay, sure.
Yeah. So that's our evenings. That's what you got to look forward to when you're a parent. That's like at the end of the day,
like a big night on the town.
After you're off work, I mean, that's what you do. You just kind of chill, and your kids are grabbing your face, telling you about their day. That's what we look forward to at the end of the day. I would like to say it's like that every night, but most of the nights it's kind of like that. So
what's it been like trying to have 2 very young work partners while you're working from home? That's the quarantine question.
So I actually I'm working out of the master bedroom, and Rob is we have an office, but I can't work next to Rob. He's too loud, and his line of work, his phone's just going off 24/7. So that would be just way too distracting. So he's on one end of the house, I'm on the other, and then grandma, who comes over to watch the kids, she does a fantastic job of keeping the screaming and throwing of toys to a low volume.
Oh, that's great. That's really nice to hear. I'm just scrolling some more so people get sort of the idea.
Yeah.
I find that really interesting how the kids, they don't really like loud noises in the home. My parents, who spend a lot of time at the computer and spend a lot of time, at home with their remote, at home work schedule. My mom hates loud TV. Pretty much for the most part, when I want to focus, I like to have Do Not Disturb on, just because when I read, I don't like to be disturbed, Very important part for being able to comprehend information. But overall, I would say, yeah, like the only time that I would say loud noises in my specific area happen frequently would be traffic, loud music, and loud TV, which because people need hearing aids. You know, older people need hearing aids. They can't hear the TV. So overall, we use subtitles. I love subtitles. My mom hates subtitles. She's like, I don't want to, you know, watch a book. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but she doesn't want to read the subtitles. But overall, I try to get her to watch things that make her feel like she's taking a pause from all the constant work that she's seeing. And, you know, definitely all the screens. She has about like 3 different screens for different work reports. So overall, she has a lot of engagement with tech. But overall, I would say, yeah, I try to only work within my computer when I respond to emails and my device. But for the most part, when it comes to television, I don't like to watch television for longer than 30 minutes at a time. If it's going to be an hour long, then it has to be some sort of documentary. Doing something for an hour is definitely very limiting on your mental health, in my opinion, because kids specifically in a growing mind, they need to spend a lot of time outside and, you know, exerting their energy rather than sitting still. So I feel like that speaks a lot on what's happening right now.
Yeah, and speaking of an hour, we're kind of coming up on time limit for Scotty, who does sort of, as we now know, have a few other things to do, like a job and 2 kids and a husband. So still some time for questions if anybody wants. Now that I'm screen sharing, I'm not necessarily going to see you raise your hand. I'm still just having fun scrolling here.
Having fun scrolling.
Having fun scrolling.
Scotty, what's the height difference?
Between the kiddos?
No, between the between the adults.
There you go.
There you go. I am 5'6" and Rob is 6'1".
And you're standing on something really tall with plexiglass glass that's not shatterproof in one of the pictures.
Oh yeah, that was that was a surprise trip to Seattle.
Okay.
That was before the whole pandemic actually hit us, and the lockdown. I was surprised. I was told to hop on the plane, and that I would figure out where we were when we landed. And I was like, okay, cool.
Fine.
Yeah, right
is
there.
that the one
That was my.
Oh my god.
Oh, the Space Needle. Oh.
Yeah, I could not do that.
By the way, that is a awesome place to have cocktails.
That's like the pre-quarantine photo, right? Like we all have like, what was the last trip you took before quarantine?
To the gym. That was my last trip.
And there's one picture where you've got a bandana on, you're holding a medal in your hand.
Oh yeah, that's Spartan races. So I do I did obstacle course races. Because of the whole coronavirus, we kind of got our dad bods.
Wow.
Yeah, you've done a great job staying fit, I have to say, as a father, which I've seen a lot of parents.
Man, I try.
And you've been
right
amazing
now.
so far. You're amazing.
You only get to see from here up for a reason.
But look at all these sports things you do. Like you sign up for this boot camp and that race. It's it's great. I think that's a really healthy parenting thing you've done, is to try to stay.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad because he's been asking me, hey, when do we get to go to Papa's race? You know, he goes out there to support me. And just seeing his little face light up when I'm crossing that finish line is the world to me. Even though my body feels like it's been run through a cheese grater, but you know, it's neat. I kind of miss that right now, especially because that was a very bonding thing for me and him. You know, I would get my medal at the finish line and then give it to him. He'll take a picture with it. So I can't wait to get back to that. That I do miss a lot.
Have you been?
I'm loving. Oh, go ahead, Chris. I love these little like baby Sierra. I love that one.
Have you been to like? Are your parents from like Lima in Peru, or
Yep,
have you?
Peru.
Oh, okay. And have you been teaching Ryder and Sierra like some Quechua too, like Quechuan languages in addition to like Peruvian Spanish?
No, I'm a terrible Peruvian. I only know Machu Picchu, and you know that my parents are from Lima. I came to we all immigrated to the United States when a lot of us were very young. I was 4 when we immigrated. A lot of people say I don't have an accent in English. I think I do. I still kind of hear it, but you know. So yeah, I definitely, me personally, I want to go back to gain all the cultural stuff that, I mean, I have nothing wrong being, you know, coming to the United States and, you know, living the American dream that I am. But it'd be kind of neat to kind of catch up on, you know, that cultural background
Cool.
later on.
Yeah, you're being very red, white, and blue here. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that's our America picture.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Rob's a patriot, so, or a veteran. Sorry. So we're.
Oh, where did he serve?
He was in the Air Force.
Yeah,
where he was stationed in Wyoming.
Whoa.
Guarding
Wow.
nukes. Yeah, he was guarding nukes. So.
Ooh.
Yeah. That was a long time ago, though. I'm sure they have robots for that now.
Yeah, I mean, look at this butch stuff that Scotty does. Look at him here. He's in his obstacle course. Man. Like, dang, look at you. Woo. Whoa.
Yeah.
All right. We're impressed.
That's a lot easier than parenting. I will tell you that, though.
Yeah. There we go. Well, I tell you what, let's, if there's any, I see Henry has okay. I wasn't on the page. So Henry, you want to do one last question and then maybe one or 2 questions, and we'll let Scotty go back to being the amazing parent and
a state worker
that he is, all that other stuff that maybe he has to do.
Awesome. Great. Hi, Scotty. Thank you for joining us today. I had a 2-part question. One is, what do you wish the general public knew more about in terms of sexual orientation? And then the second part to that question is, how can we educate ourselves more about just identity in that topic?
In regards to sexual orientation, I wish everyone would not focus on people's sexual orientation when meeting them. Like a lot of my closest friendships, they were shocked to find out that I was gay. Not that I like hide it or anything. That just never came up, you know. Hey, you do Spartan races. Yeah, you know, a good month went by. We were just talking about races, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, my husband comes up. And then, oh, you're gay? Yeah. Oh, okay. You know, at that point, you know, no one, well, I don't want to say no one, but I'm sure it's happened to people, but it's hard to sever ties with people you like at that, you know, a month in or 2 months in. So I just wish people wouldn't focus too much on that and just kind of love each other. You know, if you like a person, you like them for a lot of reasons, not just their sexual orientation, especially when it comes to friendships. Now, if you're dating, obviously it's different. You're not going to date, you know, a straight person as a gay man or anything like that. But yeah, I just wish people wouldn't, when in terms to friendships, you know, meeting your kids' friends' parents and stuff like that, I just wish that didn't weigh as much as people make it out to be, you know, because it kills opportunities to meet new and interesting people. Now, your second question was, can you repeat the second question for me, please?
You were basically answering it as well, but it was a little bit more about the how, like if there are resources you can point us to better understand that topic.
Okay, so for students, definitely go sit down and well, not right now because of everything that's going on, but when you get a chance, you know, go to a GSA meeting. I mean, that was for me, that's what helped me blossom or be more comfortable with my own sexuality. I mean, I'll be honest, I put myself in the closet all throughout high school. I wasn't comfortable telling anybody, not even my closest friends, that I was gay. Even though we had a GSA I went to Gun High School. we had a GSA back then. I just personally was not ready to, come out at that time. And then, Foothill, I started at Foothill, and actually Rob was one of the people that was the first one to say, hey, you know what? Don't they have like a GSA or anything like that at Foothill? And I was like, yeah, I guess I could go check it out. So that was my little kick in the butt to like, hey, go surround yourself with people who you can relate to in regards to your sexual orientation, and that kind of understand why you're in the closet. And that really helped me blossom out of my insecurities as a gay man.
Awesome. We might have been at Gun at the same time, Scotty. I was class of 2010.
Oh yeah, so I graduated a year before you. Yeah,
Cool.
that's cool.
Thank you for that.
It's really fun. Well, that might be a pretty good, I mean, we can hang out some more. Scott, you can just let us know if you have to go. I usually try to end these recording parts of these. It will be available for other people to sort of zoom in on. That's one of the beautiful things about Zoom, because I have lots of students and friends who I think would love to hear the conversation. Thank you so much for sharing and for getting Ryder. Actually, I was amazed that Ryder like hung out with us as long as he did.
Yeah,
So like, I have been around a lot of 3-year-olds in my life, not at the exact moment now, but that was a long time in 3-year-old land as far as I'm concerned. So I think that we actually got quite, and he made us multiple ice cream cones, right?
He did.
So like, look at this, he made rainbow ice cream cones for us. That was pretty good. So my thanks to Ryder also. It's so beautiful to have you back at Foothill. It's the kind of funny thing about Zoom is I feel like you're back on the campus, even though you're just a pixelated screen at the moment.
I do want to visit. I will. I'll drop over there once this whole thing's over.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I could say the original plan was that Scotty was going to come down and bring Ryder, and then it just got derailed, of course, by quarantine. So our original plan, which I would like to be also our future plan, is I hope that we can have the pleasure of hosting you and your family on campus someday.
Yeah.
I think it would be beautiful to have you back. I've been mentioning in all of my different forums, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, another previous Gay Straight Alliance president, although from so far back, and at the Anza that it wasn't called GSA back then, it had some other name, is now the first openly gay president of any law school in the United States. So, and he also has a family. He's also married and has a family now. And this is from long ago, but it's really, I get an especially warm, fuzzy feeling sort of hosting our previous GSA presidents. And so I would love to have you come physically down to campus at some point. It would be, in fact, I'm almost going to insist, so someday we have to follow through on this whenever we get out of our weird quarantine world.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Ryder will be much higher, and maybe Sierra can talk to us by then too.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be awesome. So I'm gonna stop the recording at this point. You'll be able to visit this if you have friends or family members or other students, professors who might want to join this conversation, or who might want to see the conversation. Remember that we are posting. It'll take a little while, but in about 24 hours, there will be a link on the foothill.edu webpage for Pride Month. And and I have one more share while we're on screen, so the next event, is this dragtastic dining event with Nikki, who is not a former Foothill student, but is a former student body president. And Nikki is now a professional chef. And so that's coming up on Dragtastic. Nikki's going to teach you how to make the best adobo in the planet. And that's our kind of like drag friendly event coming up now on Thursday. So you're welcome to join us for that.
What time, Scott?
It's going to be at, let's see, is it on this poster? I didn't make this poster. Thursday, June 11th. I think it's at noon, but I'm not even sure, to be honest. So you can look on foothill.edu and find out. That will be there also. Let's see if I stop share and reshare. I think I could do this for you. LGBTQ. Where is this? Is this it? Yeah. So let me.
It says noon to. It says hang on. It's saying noon to 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
noon. Okay, so it's noon to 1. And then again, you can get to all of our events on the foothill.edu webpage. So we've got all kinds of fantastic. We have an amazing panel coming up tomorrow, for example, where students from Foothill College are going to talk about their experiences. And we've got we have mental health wellness events, Zumba events, and all kinds of things along those lines. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for some of those others. And I think at this point now I'm going to stop the recording. If Scotty wants to hang out, that's great. And Scotty, if you need to go, we'll wave. But let's do the official wave right now. I don't know if we have a gay wave, but like whatever. So
Great seeing you, Scotty. You've grown up so much. I'm just tripping.
Thank you.
yeah. And Scotty never was in any of my classes. I just knew him as the GSA president. John, you actually had Scotty as a student. Is that
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is sociology in action, as far as I'm concerned. This is
Oh yeah.
This is
Oh,
as
yeah.
good as it gets. This is as good as it gets. Okay, let's see. Stop recording.
Okay, I have to jump to